are back for, I think this is like number 4 of our day 3 Mother's Day bonbons chocolates. So just to recap, we did make these lovely chocolates this morning. They are dark chocolate, although there is a little bit of milk product in them, so I can't actually call them dark chocolate. And then in the center we do have my berry chocolate. Makes them nice, and we added some really pretty colors. Right now I'm mixing up this, which is almost ready. This is just a butter, cocoa butter, sorry, mixed with some of that chocolate, and I also used some copper and some pearl powders to get almost, it's pretty close, yeah, it's pretty close to a gold, gosh, sorry, I can't even talk today. Anyway, close to rose gold, I guess. So we're going to set that aside. I do want to put that in a bag, so I can pipe it in. It's not big enough to use the actual piping bag, so I'm just going to use a baggie. Easiest way for me when I use baggies is to use a glass. And then I just kind of put the one corner down. It's way easier to do it that way, because this is pretty close. Now I was debating on whether I should do the full coating or if I should just do lines. I think for the sake of, I don't know, something fun and different, I'm just going to do the lines. And since I have a lot, I'm going to go ahead and clean the inside of another mold, the same kind of mold. It's fine to use the way it is, but I do want to kind of clean up a little bit just to get some of this chocolate off. And then I'll just buff the insides so that it's nice. I decided I would go with the pistachio filling, because I do know somebody who really likes pistachios, so I got a special order for some of them. And she likes dark chocolate, so we're going to go ahead and make the, well, the pistachio filling is ready. I haven't piped it yet, but I don't need to do that until we have this ready to go. This is, oh, there goes the brown. It's getting close, but not quite ready yet. So, stir this off. Just so that you know, there's nothing wrong with this chocolate. I'm not going to use it, but I just hadn't actually scrubbed this mold yet. So I'm going to get a cotton ball and some alcohol, and I'm going to scrub that out. And we are still waiting on these ones to harden. They are the raspberry ganache. So bear with me. I'm going to run and grab some stuff. We're going to get this cleaned out and we'll get going on it. Now the rubbing alcohol does evaporate. The amount I'm using is so little that really it's not going to be much of anything at all. I'm just going to do the outsides a little bit. Like that. Alright, and then I'm just going to do a quick wipe here. So all of what you see is actually on the underneath. So, I mean, I always look at these molds and go, oh my gosh, they're filthy, but it's actually the underneath that has all that crap in it. And after this, I do go over with a dry one. But I do want the end result to be shiny. So even the clean mold, I'm going over this. Just to make sure. Like it looks like it's really bad, but it's not. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe out before that stuff sets. Actually, as that stuff is sitting in a bag, it looks more and more like a caramel color. It's too bad I didn't have a green, although I guess I could have mixed the blue with the iridescent. Actually, that would have been kind of nice for the, oh well, not going to mess with it again anymore, but, alright, so now I'm just going to grab a clean cotton ball and buff them out some more so that we get a nice shiny one, especially with those colors. It's kind of going to be really, really important that they sparkle. I'm going to do just the lines, just to give it some dimension. And I need practice with the lines anyway, because like the ones I did yesterday and the day before, or yeah, just yesterday I think was the first time, they were pretty crappy. I wasn't happy with them, and that's not good. So I definitely want to practice, and what a better time than now, because if you mess up, they actually still do look good, and of course they taste good regardless. So alright, that's as good as we're gonna get. The insides are clean. They don't look clean, but they are. Gonna set them down like this. Now the plan is to go straight line all the way. So if I get them paired up pretty evenly, I'm gonna throw this, it's hardened already, so I'm gonna throw that. It might have messed it up completely, but I'm gonna throw it in the microwave for like 5 seconds and see if we can get it just soft enough to make it work. Now, last time I did that, we ended up with chunks in there and ended up with a mess. I mean, it still turns out fine, but I would prefer if it had a little bit of consistency to it, or a little bit of fluidity. A lot of fluidity. Alright, so just was trying to get the arrow, but anyway, so we're going to go ahead and just a very small little tiny bits. Oh, and that's too runny, so okay, here goes. Nope, definitely we got too many lumps in there, so this is going to be, well, it's going to be a mess up situation. But we're going to get the little polka dots, which is as close as I'm going to get to real anything. Like I said, I need practice, so if it doesn't work out, that's fine. It's still going to look somewhat like something cool, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into any more. See that giant chunk of cocoa butter hardened in there. All right. Just going to kind of see where we're at with that. We do have some chunks. Of course, it hardened pretty quick. It had set. And all I have for a scraper is this one. So, it's not temperature, it's just getting that right exact temperature. Get it at the right consistency at the right time. If you've got all that in place, it's going to turn out beautifully. If not, then you're kind of hooped. that is what we're gonna get. It's kind of looks like caramel actually, which is kind of weird, but I think with the chocolate coming on top of it, you might actually get a little bit of a better, yeah. But when it's on thick like that, it looks like more caramel. So if we flip it over, of course it's dirty, so we're not getting an accurate description of it. But there's still some liquid here, so. Oop. Yeah, once again here we're going. I still wanted to get some nice shine going here, so we'll just add some more. Then we only have a little bit of chocolate peek through them. That'll be fun, right? Right? Why not? I'm going to dump out the excess. Let's scrape that off. All right. So, I'm always disappointed when it doesn't work out the way I plan it, but I am not going to lose any sleep over it, and I'm certainly not going to dump it out and redo it, because it is about having fun and thinking outside the box and doing things you're not exactly 100% comfortable doing when it comes to chocolate. So this one's pretty much going to be splatters of whatever on top, and we're going to throw some chocolate in it, and it's going to be lovely. Okay, so nobody's perfect, and some are even less, whatever, less more perfect, less unperfect. Right, I'm going to wash up, kind of clean up the surface a little bit, and then I do have to go ahead and melt that chocolate down so that we can get those cavities in there. So I do want to go ahead and get that started. We should have better luck with the chocolate than we did. So I'm just going to clean these up so I can use them again. Get this alcohol out of the way. Some of these dishes out of the way. And I do think when I fill these next ones that I'm going to use the piping bag. It's a lot more control, and I think there's less waste. So that's the plan for that. So the nice thing about this is that I only have to run it in the microwave once because it wasn't completely solid. So once I put it into a bag, it will temper faster. So I'm going to get my handy dandy glass again. Put the one corner feed through there like that. The other one doesn't matter. Just go ahead and pour that in. It's pretty hot, so I think I know, of course, because it melts the bag. I don't need all of it, I don't think yet. I hope I don't need all of it because I need some to seal them. So I'm going to pour it in and just do, like I said, I just want a coating. Not too terribly thick. I'm a little concerned because I do want to put that pistachio coconut filling in, and these cavities aren't deep anyway, so I'm always concerned that there's not enough room for much filling. But the chocolate, the flavor of the chocolate is very good, so I think that will kind of help. Won't be so bad. What I do want to do is change this out though, the paper out, because it's pretty bad right now, and I just keep adding more to it. So let's go ahead and get that changed. I'm not going to stack these because there's stuff all over. And this is what happens when you have a lot going on in one day. Typically I try to plan a day where I have certain things I want to do, but then I end up changing my mind and adding things like the colors on here and the colors in here. As a matter of fact, I had no intentions of doing these at all today. It was just these and these were on my list. So, but it's always nice if I can use up all the chocolate when it comes out of the melange rather than waiting. A lot of times I'll just do some and then leave some for another day, and then it's easier if I just do it all in one day. And then I have with the market tomorrow, I don't have much prep to do other than boxing this stuff up and pricing everything. And then I do sell in a store as well. So I'll probably pop over there on Friday, see if anything has sold. And then what I didn't sell at the market, I'm going to probably take to the store. Which I think would make more sense to do that. So I do want to clean up my scrapers. They are extremely invaluable. I don't know what I would do without them. I've tried using like the back side of a knife. Not even comparable to these things. So I've only ever had one for a little while, and I was washing it so many times a day. So having a second one, and the smaller one that I have only works in some of the molds anyway, because there are molds that are too wide for it. So having the smaller one with a shorter handle, well, like this one here. This is good for these molds, but not good for my larger molds. I have a couple of bar molds that are wider, and my one bonbon mold is quite a bit wider, so that's where this one comes in. But I do like the control of this one. They're both great. I can't imagine doing this without them now. And as I'm able to sell more, I will be able to get more molds, more equipment. And I've been enjoying doing the chocolate bars, but as I've been doing the bonbons, they're like calling me. So I'm hoping I can still continue to do bars, but if they're not going to sell, then this is what I'm going to end up having to do, just to keep an income coming in, or to have an income coming in. Okay, that's not a lot of chocolate actually. That's really not a lot at all. And there's not much more in there, so we may run out. I say that all the time, and then I'm fine. I usually have chocolate left over, so I'm not going to get into a full-blown panic over it. Just a mini panic. No, I will be fine. It does temper faster when you kind of spread it out. My countertop today is nice and cold because the dishwasher ran last night, and over here is just above the dishwasher. I've had a disaster where I've had a container of chocolate, like a box full of chocolate that I couldn't sell. So it was kind of our stash of chocolate to eat. I walked over and it was completely melted, just a big mass of melted chocolate in the bottom of this box. So I have been very careful to make sure that all of my chocolate is on this side of this is actually literally the line. Thankfully though, dishwasher not ran today, so I'm not worried, but it does get very warm on that counter. So this counter is nice and cool. So I think we're okay, and I think we're pretty close. Nope, still pretty warm. I try to keep it as much together because I'll always waste, but it's nice if you don't waste too much of it. Because once I start squeezing it, then it's really gonna be so. I guess it doesn't matter in the long run. Yeah, it would be. It's really hard with these ones to see what the color is actually going to be. This one's a clearer mold, so it kind of gives you a more of an accurate look to it. But again, you don't know until the big reveal, and that's like my favorite part. And I can't wait to check these ones out because they are like going to be beautiful. They did seal nicely. There's a couple of small holes. I'm not sure though that they are actually going to, I'm not sure if those holes actually go right to the stuff or not. Like if I look at this one, it seems to go straight this side to the mold itself. This one, I'm not sure if it went deep enough to hit. I think there's chocolate underneath that sealed that in. So same with this one here. This one had too. But I do think that they're completely sealed. They're also ready to come out. Let's just take a look here quickly. Yeah, you won't be able to see that, but just look here underneath. You can't see. They are separated from the mold. I'm going to show you on, these ones aren't a good example because these are not actual polycarbonate. These are just plastic. I got them off of Amazon. They say they're polycarbonate, but they're not. So they are thinner, and all the banging, like these get banged around quite a bit. So they will not last as long as these polycarbonate ones will. And when it comes to demolding them, they don't come out as nice, I don't think. I guess it depends, but I don't think they come out as nice as the polycarbonate ones do. So, I mean, it's just a matter of preference. I thought I would hate these molds because these ones here, super easy to pop out, right? But not so easy when you're transporting them. They have to be on a solid surface, and so there's lots that goes with them. Like for me to do a shell with these ones is next to impossible because you have to pour it in, shake, 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 and tip. You're actually continuously bending, and the chocolate, it's not going to solidify, or like you'd have to do pretty thick, I think, to keep it from breaking, because as soon as you go to pop that out, it's going to break. And I have actually tried to do filled chocolates with some of my other molds, and it was hard to do. I did do it, but I had to do really thick. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I think we're cool enough now. I think it's tempered pretty well. I should be using a bag, but I'm not. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill these up. I'm not even going to have enough to do even one mold, I don't think. I mean, I'll come back with a melt, and I'm just going to pour this right from here into the next one. But I don't even have enough to do this one mold, so this will be interesting. We'll batch, because you want to make sure you've got all the surface. So it's going to have to be poured down, and I don't think it's going to fill them all anyway, but this is the beauty of experimenting, and these weren't planned anyway, so it's not like my day is ruined. I have some beautiful flower chocolates to remind me that we did have some success today. So that's all I can ask for. I've got some success. We have some pretty stuff, and I'm just moving it along because I do want to make sure that these edges get covered. They are so important. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here. I do have that last one that I want to fill first. But see, this is typically not how you would do this. Not at all how you would do it. Upside down. So they actually do look pretty cool once you get that layer of chocolate. As you can see, I've missed some, so I want to go ahead and make sure that I get that covered now. And scraping it too will kind of fill in that little bit of a gap there. Of course, these ones here. I still have some in my. I think we're good for the filling on this one here. So I'm going to scrape the rest off. Again, I go over it again, which I don't want to do, but that last little bit. Okay, so that one I'm going to set aside. This size off. And so, not a ton of chocolate on the sides. I do have some more in here though. I'm going to use the rest of it and see how many of these I can actually do. I'm not sure that I should be able to. But then I'm going to have to actually melt some chocolate that I already have barred to seal them up at the end. Unless by some miracle, some at the end of this. And there might be. And it's already thickening, so we don't have any time to waste. Yeah. So these are going to be pretty thick, I would imagine. I just want to try to get some into that last one and into this one as well. Fill them up. Scrape into there. And I'm going to turn upside down. And it's not all going to go in there, which is fine. I can pick up the chocolate that melts. Actually, you can see where some of it's already separated from the mold. If you look here, you can see the coloring. When you don't see the coloring, that's actually separating. So that's a good thing. It means that the chocolate tempered nice and is separating quite well. This one you can tell. I'm not sure on the other one if you can really tell so much. All right. So we have some that actually ended up being solid chocolates. I'm not sure. I haven't had this happen before, so I'm not sure if I can scoop them out or not, or if I should even bother to try. Might not be a good idea to mess with it. I'm stumped. Didn't know what to do. And because I'm me and I have to make things that much more interesting, I'm going to scoop out. I don't want to go too deep. So really there's not going to be much room for filling at all in these ones here. It's just going to be too much chocolate. But actually it's fine because these ones we can eat at home. So these, it just made for an interesting day. I'm not going to get carried away with trying to scoop out the exact and get it off. So we just have very little, there's not going to be a lot of pistachio in these ones. And I will separate them. These ones shelled nice, so we'll be able to get a pretty good amount of pistachio in here. These ones not so much, and that's fine. I'm not overly concerned. I do have enough chocolate probably to seal them, those ones, and then these ones will just be my samplers, and then friends. Yeah, samplers for friends. outside, and then we're gonna look and see what our little presents with the raspberry ganache will look like. I am gonna take these completely out of the way now. They will be ready to package. I think I'm gonna wrap them in saran wrap individually, just so that they stay fresh. I mean, it's chocolate, they'll keep forever. Yeah, and I'm actually gonna put them in, what I've been using is cupcake paper cups. If I turn them upside down, and then I can stick that on there and bring up the side, so it's, actually that's better, I'll do that. Alright, let's get these out of their molds. Let's try this off first. Once it dries, it's pretty easy to get off of here. Move out of the way anyway. And all that chocolate can be remelted. There's not enough here, I'm not going to worry about it. But. Okay, you ready for the big reveal? Best part of the day, one's already popped out. So let's see. So very subtle, very, very, very subtle pink. Which is, you don't need anything that's, oh, they all just popped right out, except two. Yeah, so not a giant, bright, colored chocolate, but I think they'll go nice with the flowers. Once we get all those together, they are going to look very pretty. So, do something like that. La la la. Happy Mother's Day. And I had intended on doing some of the other ones. So I'm not going to get a lot of boxes with the pistachio ones, obviously, but I do have one batch sold. So looks like I'll be able to do 1, 2, 3. Probably I'll only be able to do 3. So if you're one of the lucky moms that gets a flower with the 3 pistachios, you are, or the 4, then you're one of the 3. So, and I hope you enjoy them, because the pistachio stuff is delicious. I think it's delicious. Yeah, so we did very well. We got those all done. I am going to get a container to put these in. I've been working from a box that has some of the bonbons that I haven't packaged yet, so I'm going to bring them over. And then just show you, like, these are the only ones I haven't packaged yet. These ones here are my signature exclusive flavor, the berry milk chocolate. Made them into roses, and these here, they are my caramel peanuts, white chocolate. This is that too. And this one here was the first bonbons I did, and they were the raspberry ganache. But the coloring on the here I used, this yellow is actually orange peel powder mixed with cocoa butter. And then the purplish color was the rose petal. Oh, there's more of a pink on this side here, if I can get that. So that pinkish color is actually rose petal powder mixed with cocoa butter. So I've been using that for coloring when I can. And we might as well, while we've got this going, put them in papers. So we need to figure out what color paper we want to use. I do have quite a variety now of colors. So I'm thinking we're going to be doing flowers with a pink. I've used a lot of the pink papers, so why don't we do an, let's just do blue. Let's do blue ones. Yeah, and then the pistachio, I'm going to do the green, just, it's easier to do. And these, because these have raspberry filling, typically I would just use a pink or a purple, but I've been using them for the roses and for all the other ones, so I'd like to change it up too. I will get some fancier ones. I like these paper ones because when I push down on them, they will actually form the square. So I don't have to do much manipulating. And I don't want to necessarily just serve a chocolate that looks kind of boring. Presentation is important. So we want to make sure that we have the right colors. And I did go ahead and box chocolate, like the packs already before I finished all of the bonbons, just for the sake of time and the fact that I wanted to get stuff in the store yesterday. And then today I wanted to get some more ready. I may stop at the store in the morning on my way to the market, see if anything is sold. And I do have like regular chocolate bars, and I mean not regular, they're all made special, but I may just grab some of those to take to the market. It's really just about feeling out what's kind of selling and what's not. I didn't have great success at the market last time, but I'm hopeful that this market will be different. I did have some bonbons at the last one. Oh, out of blue. But these are like extra prettier though. Oh, I have one left. Well, how about that? So it looks like I'm gonna need to get some more of these papers. Okay, well I have a few orange ones here. A couple of orange ones. So we're gonna mix it up, throw some colors in there. Cause why not? And then I do have a few pinks. We will do a few of those. I go through a lot of these. Actually, I didn't realize that I thought buying that big thing would last forever, but they have not. I think Christmas time I'm gonna need to be really, really, really on the ball. Okay, so it looks like these are set. They're probably pretty close to being ready to fill, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my pistachio filling into a piping bag. So we can go ahead and get those piped in. I'm gonna use an actual piping bag, not a bag. And I had a glass. I still do. So I use a taller glass, even though it doesn't really reach the bottom. Just more for stability for me, more than anything else. So that's that. I'm gonna need a spatula. So this one, the chocolate getting in mixed in is fine, so I'm just gonna use that. Pistachio, if you like pistachios, this is so good. And I actually should get the coconut out. I actually am not going to use coconut. Because these cavities are so small. And if I use coconut, then that takes away from this. So we're just going to do this, and then that's it. I had to cut the hole a little bit bigger, so we're going to probably end up with a giant mess again. Just because there are bits of pistachio in there. Although they're pretty small. I want to say that there's chocolate chunks in here, and yes, there are. Those chocolate chunks are going to be the death of me. Okay. They're not horribly big, so I think we might be okay. I have a lot of this left as well, so it looks like I'm going to be making some desserts with raspberries and pistachios. Alright, so let's get the tip cut and see we can do this without making a ginormous mess. The last batch I made, I think I filled them too full, and I ended up with like not a pleasant experience. Okay, well this is I'm really having to squeeze. These chunks of chocolate are in the way. For now, I'm just going to put that little bit in the center. And again, I'm squeezing too hard. I'm just going to pull it away every time because I don't want it to go overfill and then end up with a horrible mess. I'll make sure when I chop chocolate for anything that going forward that I make it small enough. But see, that's what I didn't want to happen. But it's okay. We're having fun and we're learning. Lots of chocolate there. I'm hoping these seal up nice too, because we have such little chocolate left. I'm always concerned that it's going to be too bumpy. Molds are going to be too full. Some more here. This is where I was getting into trouble. I'm like, oh, there's lots of them. And we end up with a mess. But I don't want to cheap out. I want these mamas to have some chocolate, some pistachio. I've used up all my spoons. I use them to check for tempering. And I'm scooping up some of that. I want that edge to be cleared off. Just make sure that we get it moved around enough that that one. Alright, now for these few that I'm going to fill here. Not very many and not very much. So we're going to get a little taste in there, and a little taste in there. A little taste in there. A little taste in there. Very little taste in there. A little bit. Something like that. I don't even think it's worth it to put any in here. These ones I'm going to, but it's really not going to be beneficial to do that because it's so little and chance of it. Like I said, I'm not going to sell these ones, but I will feed friends and family. My neighbor, we're going to go for a walk tonight, so I think walking deserves chocolate. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this melted, tempered, and seal them up. We may not even have enough to seal those, which is fine too. But I'm going to get this That last little bit of the day is always the hardest part for some reason. It just needs to be that way. Looking at it here, this one likely won't seal the way it is. So I do need to take more out of that. I hate to do that, but I can see that it's there. Just making sure those edges. If there's any sticking up like that one there. Spatula. Oh, hard. So now I need to go ahead and rinse that off. So let's mix this little tiny bit of chocolate around. Seems kind of hardly worth it. So. Yeah. But as long as it's enough to seal it, I'll be happy. If I use a piping bag and I use it properly, I won't have to scrape very much off. And the bag, putting it in the bag does actually help simplify it. Alright. Little glass. Really like not much at all. The last little bit, but that's a whole batch of chocolate. I shouldn't say a whole batch because it was a small batch that I made this time. But my husband did finish peeling some beans this morning, this afternoon, so I'm gonna weigh them out, and I'm gonna get them in the peanut butter maker tonight, and get them in the melanger tonight. So I have chocolate in the morning. Whether or not I'm gonna do a batch. I'm likely not going to do a batch to sell tomorrow at the market. I'm just going to let it run all night and run all day tomorrow. Yeah, and we'll just go from there. I don't really, I would have liked to have gotten a batch done tomorrow. I mean, even if I clean it out of the melanger and then I can get these. If I get up early enough, I can pull those out. Those are my pink, my berry beans, soaking in citric acid. If I get up early enough, I can get those in the oven, get them drying, and get the other stuff out. If they can get them dry enough, I'm still not going to have time because they do have to go through the peanut butter machine. So this is how I plan my days. Oh, what if I do this? And then I walk through it and realize it's not feasible. So. But we've got a lot accomplished actually today, so it's been a good day, and I have more Mother's Day treats to sell. Because really we have all of, well, not all of this week now, because today's Wednesday, so we have the rest of this week, and then we have all of next week. Yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. So essentially I have a week and a half. So that's in the store a week and a half, and then I have this market, and then the next week I have my Thursday market, and then I'm doing a Mother's Day market on Saturday, so that'll be the final push, and by then most people would have already got their mom something, so these will be like hopefully their last minute, oh, mom will like one of these. I'm hoping that, because every market I do costs me money, and if I'm not making any money, then I'm wasting my time, and my money. I enjoy it though. I mean, that's the kicker, right? Like, I like doing what I'm doing. I like making this chocolate. And if I don't sell it, then I can't do it, right? And we don't want that, because it's a passion for me, and it would make me very sad if I couldn't do it. So buy some chocolate. All right. I don't want to wait for it to get too hard, and I know it needs to be the right temper. So it's cooling off. I'm actually going to set it just on here for a second, just because it's cool on that surface as well. Get my scissors ready. This can go in the sink. I have a whole lot of dishes to do. And I have about maybe 15-20 minutes before my husband gets home. So in that amount of time, I'm going to have all this done, and I'm going to have the dishwasher unloaded, dishwasher loaded, the other dish is done. Can I do that in 20 minutes? And clean up the table that I have all the boxes of chocolates that I'm selling. I'm not really sure that I can, but we're going to give it a try. I think we're good. It's kind of at that stage where you're not really sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, let's get her done. Alright. First I have to bring as much as I can to the corner, so we don't waste as much. Once I start loading it in there, I'm going to make sure that I'm using all of it. Alright. Now, I used to just hold it upside down when I cut it and realized that it would just go everywhere. So, don't do that anymore. Let's just a bit here, seal it up. I'm just going to put some on top and shake it out. Yeah, this is not looking good. I'm going to have to melt some more. And I'm not worried, like I have lots of chocolate. Lots of chocolate. So I think that's probably all we're going to get. So I'm going to shake it out, because I do want to get those little edges, these edges, and these edges. I'm a little concerned just because they're not. I've only ever overfilled, so thankfully I have a clean knife. So I'm just gonna scrape along. See, that's another thing that's so important, is if your surface is clean, then that's not going to be an issue, right? Okay, it looks like I was able to get those ones sealed off, I think. Maybe these ones too? Maybe. Maybe not. Likely not. See if I can squeeze out any more chocolate. Oh, I can squeeze out some. At least get one more sealed, maybe. Well, if we can get that one done, we can squeeze out enough chocolate to seal that one too, right? This is talk about cutting it close. I always worry, and it usually works out, so. No need to stress. Alright, so I think that's about all we can do there. Shake that out. And I think they're gonna seal fine. I don't anticipate any leaks really anywhere. This one here might be a little concerning, but other than that, I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna just follow through with it. I've already started, so I just have to carry on. This one here, yeah, looks like we've got this one. So this is where I should never do it, but I always do. So I play with them and try to fix little spots that I think are gonna leak. Here, I think I'm just concerned about a couple of little parts that might a pretty big chunk laying on there, but I can't stop it now, or I can't remove it. I'm kind of at a standstill, or kind of at a committed point. And really I can't do any more scraping because I'm gonna pull. So we are done with that. This one here, I'm just gonna in my own time seal those up. But I do want to get my house cleaned up before my husband comes home. So I'm gonna check back with you when these are ready, and we'll be able to get them out of the molds and see how pretty they look with that all that weird experimenting I did. Stay tuned. Okay, hopefully one more and then we can be done. At least these ones, and then we'll carry on to another video of something else.